Hi everyone, it's Marie and welcome back to my channel Milan. Today I'm here with this beautiful lady, Emilia Francesca. She's a life and business coach, and today we're going to be talking about a juicy topic like how to find your love, how to attract the perfect partner into your life. Tell us a few words about yourself, please.
Yeah, awesome. Oh, well, I'm so excited to be on and chatting about this. So as Marie said, I'm a life and business coach, but one of the things that I love to do with all my clients is use manifestation and law of attraction to invite the things in that we desire. And one of those things quite often for the clients I work with is wanting a really abundant, soulful, beautiful relationship. And so often we'll use manifestation in order to get them in alignment with what they want and invite it in. So yeah, it's a fun topic to discuss.
The first thing that I wanted to ask you is your personal story, how you personally go through manifestation and manifestation of the ideal partner in particular.
Yeah, sure. So my story of manifestation is probably something that a lot of people can relate to, in that I knew about it for a long time before I used it, and I didn't use it because I thought that using manifestation was me relinquishing all control over my life. And as someone who is quite independent, quite ambitious, quite driven, the last thing I wanted to do was give away my independence, and I kind of saw it as manifestation meant kind of giving all of your power over to something else and like kind of just having to let go of what you wanted. But when I actually learned that that is not what it is at all, and actually we just have the opportunity to co-create, to co-design, to bring something into life with the universe, that's when I first started using it. And I did manifest lots of other things for a while before I started using it to manifest a relationship. But once I actually put it to my mind that I was going to manifest a relationship, it happened within, I think, about 7 days.
Really?
That I manifested someone.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Because I just had obviously like aligned everything so clearly. Like I think up until that point I had such a block with even just welcoming men into my life in general, let alone a relationship. So the first thing I did was kind of consciously said to the universe, like, and consciously said to myself, like, I invite in just relationships with men again. Like I just realized that I just didn't have male friends anymore, and I didn't talk to guys, and I almost, even if a guy looked at me, I'd sort of kind of like look away, and I just didn't realize that that was how closed off I got to male attention, of whether it was from the friendship kind or romantic side. So as soon as I'd opened that up and just said, like, I welcomed that in, that started to show and appear, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So now I'm going to manifest that I want someone to ask me on a date, and then that happened, and then I was like, now I'm going to manifest someone that I really like.
So it's just like step by step by step by step.
Yeah.
Did you write some list or something, or you're just like, yeah, I want a relationship and it's here?
Yeah, no, I wrote a list of everything that I wanted.
Yeah.
I wrote a list, and it was like 22 things that the person was.
22.
And
Interesting.
I think it was, for the first time ever, I wrote a list that wasn't about aesthetics. So I think the only thing that I said is I wanted them to have a good head of hair, because that was really, really important to me. But apart from that, everything was based on like values, personality traits, things like, that they walk into the room and they own that room because they're just one of those confident, vibrant people. Someone like gets on well with their family. So I got super clear on that, because that, honestly, I think for any type of manifesting, whether we're manifesting relationships or whatever it is we're bringing in, we have to get clear, because otherwise it's a bit like having a darts board but not looking whenever you throw the darts, and just kind of hoping it lands on the bullseye, and just kind of crossing your fingers and be like, maybe it will happen. Whereas when we write a list and we get crystal clear, it enables us to actually start to recognize when those things are coming our way, because we actually know what we want.
I feel it, like I relate to it completely, because I always tell like, write down. That's one of the most important things in visualization, because when you write down, your thing exists somewhere, it exists on the paper, it means something. And if speaking about manifestation relationship, I have no experience, but I have some techniques that I use. And the first thing is just writing down the things that you want, the relationship that you desire, that you imagine, because how are you going to get the ideal person if you don't know who it is?
Yeah, totally. And sometimes I think as well, once you write something down, it gives you the space to allow yourself to be surprised, because you might write down that you want something in a partner that you didn't even realize that you wanted or that was important to you, or perhaps you've always been told by other people that you have a type, that you're either a physical type or you're a certain type of girlfriend, which means that you tend to just continue down that path. But then when you give yourself time and like step back and, as you say, like write stuff down, then you might recognize that, oh, actually I don't want that type anymore. I don't want to be that type of girlfriend in a relationship. Like, I actually want something different. It just opens everything up, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's interesting. I haven't thought about this. And what I've noticed is that when you write down things, you think it's clear when you just think about it, you just imagine it, and when you start to put it into the words, into writing, it turns out that you don't really understand what you want. You can't tell how it looks. You can't tell with the words. Yeah. I want this, this, and this. The next question that I wanted to ask you, the exact techniques that you use to manifest love or whatever, just something new for me, maybe, and something new for our viewers.
Yeah, perfect. So I use 2 things with everyone I work with to manifest anything. One of them is a 6-step technique, which I believe we're talking about on your podcast, so we'll be covering that there.
By the way, we'll record the podcast after this video, just after I write this video. That's why don't forget to check this out. The podcast here, it's called Milan Podcast. Why are you laughing?
Oh, that's how I see it. And that is just to get really clear and concrete, because a lot of people hear about journaling and writing and visualizing it, but yet then it still doesn't come to life and they're wondering why. So I have a 6-step process that really helps you get that. And that is you putting that out to the universe. That's you saying, I want to manifest this, and we get really specific and you get clear on your why, and we get clear on your belief that it can be available to you, and we also get you into action. But a second thing that I get all my clients to do, as well as doing that, is to also do a journaling practice where you write as if you're living in your future. So whatever you want your future to be. So in terms of, imagine that you are waking up and you're living in your dream house and you're waking up next to your soulmate or your desired partner, and you write in your journal as if you're living that day. So you're literally like, I wake up, I get up, I put my feet on the wooden floorboards, my partner hands me a cup of coffee, and you write it so you're living in it, so you give yourself permission to see that come to life. And again, it just helps you get crystal clear on what it is you actually want. So those 2 things alone are really strong. But I think as well, we get very good when we're manifesting at getting clear on what we want, and things like, as we say, writing a list of all the traits and qualities and values we want in that partner. But we have to also come back to ourselves, like who am I when I'm showing up in this relationship? Because if you're wanting to attract in like the love of your life or your soulmate or the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with, you might need to up your game.
Yeah, will you be comfortable with this person?
Yeah, so you need to make sure that, do you feel ready for them to step into your life right now? Or do you need to up-level yourself to welcome them in? And it can look like, it's that thing of like, we had relationships in the past and there's a reason that they didn't work out for whatever reason. But do you want to show up as you showed up in those relationships? Or is there things that you want to change about yourself that make you then feel worthy and deserving and ready for the lasting relationship? And it can just be little things, like the more likely we are to meet somebody and attract someone in immediately is if we're living the life that we know that we're going to live and feeling the feelings that we know we're going to feel when we're with that person. So I remember one of my clients was literally like, well, I know that I would just shave my legs more. Like, if I had a partner, I wouldn't go 2 weeks without shaving my legs. So I was like, well, just start doing that now. And it's things like, so if I had a partner on a Friday night, I wouldn't sit in and watch Netflix and order takeaway for myself. I would be out on a date. So start taking yourself out on a Friday night
just
now.
With yourself.
Just with yourself.
Yeah, that's what I practice.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Like walking out, like don't be stuck in your room. Don't be like, I have now no one to go out with. I have I'm lonely and stuff. Just take yourself and spend time with yourself, because time with yourself is actually very valuable, as I always say. And that's a very deep thought, and that's the thing that I was thinking of doing, like journaling. But then I discovered one more interesting thing to my mind. I walk along the beach and I visualize what I want in life, like through, like I'm the projector and the reality is like a screen. I'm walking and feeling like, if it's about the soulmate, I'm feeling like I'm walking not alone but with this person. And that gets the real power, and I feel like the things start to change. I feel like the frequency of my reality starts to change, and some things become different, and every time they are different. It's like journaling, but in the real life.
Yeah, totally.
I don't know.
And the quicker that you start to visualize that, it also brings up anything that needs to be worked on in order for you to bring it into reality. So if you start visualizing it and you're like, I'm going to be walking on this beach with my partner next to me, and then you sense that there's some sort of resistance going on there, and then you might hear that inner critic in your head be like, oh, but no, because you'll never get somebody, or you know, whatever the inner critic is saying that's kind of like questioning this visualization, that is just, all that is just a sign of the things that you can work through in order to appease that, so then the soulmate can come in.
When you are so good at visualizing, when you write down the things, you're journaling and stuff, but then you come to some event and you see that the reality is completely different. You walk somewhere or you go out and you see that the reality is completely different, and there is no one who will understand you, and there is no one who you like, and the reality is kind of negative. It throws you away from what you have been manifesting. It throws you away into the mirror of reality. You know?
I think when it comes down to that, it's the fact that, and I hope that hopefully this will resonate with you before you even started the manifestation process, but manifestation isn't going to save you. Like, it isn't here to save us. We can't use it as a crutch or a hold on into our lives to create something because we don't feel worthy of it, right? So, and what I mean by that is, if we work on building our own self-confidence, self-belief, and self-trust within ourselves, then that then plays off into everything else in the world. So it doesn't matter if your current reality doesn't align up with what you're creating for your future, because you trust that it's going to happen, you trust that it's going to come. But if you go into manifestation using it almost as like a crutch, to be like, I'm just going to use this thing to get me to where I want to be, in the same way that we might use a diet to give us that dream body, like, if we don't heal that thing first, like the relationship, then even if we do get what we want, then we're still going to feel unworthy of it. So manifestation is something that we can use as like a tool alongside like building that relationship with ourselves and coming back to ourselves and having core confidence, because you can trust in the universe when you can trust in yourself.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah. When you're like comfortable with yourself and stuff, and you feel completely good in yourself, and you feel that the universe loves you, and the world cares about you, and you're worthy of it. Yeah.
And I think as well, if you're someone who believes that there's that one person for you that you're waiting to meet, or there's that perfect partnership, that soulmate, then something that's really lovely and reassuring when you do have those days where you're like, oh, I'm like working so hard to get my life to a place where they're ready to come in, and you're kind of saying to the universe, like, I'm ready, like, I'm open, send them. Like, a really reassuring thing is that every day you're one day closer to meeting that person.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I don't know how it's personally for you, but for me it's like, I see from the first sight, is it the right person or not? I don't even have the reasons to go on dates and stuff, and I just don't go. And I just don't, and I just see that nothing changes. Like, but I know that it changes. I know that I change. I know that I work with myself a lot.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just like you're stuck in the reality, and you see that everything is just not right. Everything is just who these people are around and stuff, and then sometimes it's just a little bit hard to go through this mirror of the reality, because because you know that what's the point, that's not right. Maybe you have some other tips.
Totally. And I think as well it's that thing of like loosening our grip on what we want our desired outcome to be, because sometimes we end up like shooting ourselves in the foot because we might be like, well, I'm not going to go on any dates until I make sure that I meet somebody who, when they do ask me on the date, I'm already thinking, yeah, you could potentially be my soulmate. But like then we're just cutting ourselves off from like the fun of life, of going on dates. Sometimes we get so serious about the thing that we're manifesting because it is so important to us, and because we're like, oh my gosh, and then once I have that, then everything will fall into place. That we get so serious about it that we then miss the cues from just life to have fun in the process. And then you never know, because maybe that person that you go on the date with that you're not really sure that you're interested in that much is going to be the one. But what if you go on a date with that person and you end up talking about this yoga studio that you've been wanting to try, and then you end up going on a Thursday morning, and then on that Thursday morning you end up meeting somebody who then ends up introducing you to somebody who then ends up being the person, you know? Like, you can look at it in that way if it helps you, if it feels that everything is happening in your favour and lining up for you, or you can just stop taking it so seriously and just enjoy the present moment as well, because that's what life wants you to enjoy, and that's all we ever have anyway. So it's like, okay, don't neglect the fact that this is what you want to bring into life, but how more likely is it that you're going to bring it to life if you give yourself permission to have fun whilst you're bringing it to life, rather than be like, there's only one way that this is going to happen, and I have to tick all the requirements to get there, you know?
That's interesting, and that changes something in my mind, like really. Rarely somebody changes my mind about manifestation, but you do. Probably the last thing, maybe one of the most interesting, the common mistakes that people do, and how can we deal with them?
I think the first thing that comes to mind, and we've kind of touched on this a little bit already, but sometimes we put so much focus on that person and who that person is that we forget to look back to ourselves. So we can do this in many ways, like we almost are relying on them to complete our picture for life, which is a dangerous position to be in. If we're relying on something outside of us to complete our life, then that's probably something you want to look at a little bit. But we can put so much focus on them and who they need to be and how they need to show up, that we forget to ask ourselves, who am I going to be and how am I going to show up in this relationship? So the universe loves to give you the same things that you put out, right? So if we're putting out that, rather than thinking all the time about who is he going to be and what is he going to give me, spend some time thinking about what am I going to give them? Like, why would my soulmate be lucky to have me? Like, what am I going to do in that relationship? How am I going to show up for them? And start getting really comfortable and curious, asking yourself those questions and being like, what makes me so like amazing just as I am, not having to add anything or change anything, but so amazing that it will be that perfect alignment. Like, who am I going to show up as? Just so we're not always trying to like get. We're actually thinking about what we're giving back in that relationship as well.
That's very deep. That's what I always tell people something like this. Do you know who you really are? Do you know how you can be comfortable with those people? Do you know how you can be comfortable with yourself? Just go and love yourself first before meeting someone, because if you're not complete as a whole yourself, which relationship will you attract? What kind of relationship will it be? And will your ideal partner really need you in this incomplete shape when you're in a constant need of something, you know? I think that's it. If there's something that you want to add specifically on this topic, feel free, please.
I think the other thing, just like the final thing, especially if you love visualization, that I'd suggest is we often put our desires, whatever that desire is, and in this context, a soulmate or that lasting relationship, we put them on a pedestal, and we put them high up and far away, and we tell ourselves that once I'm such and such, then I can have it. So like when we tell ourselves a narrative based on what our story was growing up, or our limiting beliefs, or how we've lived our lives so far, or context from previous relationships and that kind of thing, we tell ourselves like a narrative of like, once I'm this, then I can have that. And a visualization exercise is literally just to almost see that person, like that silhouette of that person, and just kind of bring them back and have them stand right next to you. And just like, you can do that with your eyes closed. I can kind of just do it with my eyes open and kind of see it. Mm-hmm. And it just immediately, you kind of see them standing next to you, and you realize that you are completely capable of having them in your life right now. You don't need to get any bigger, any taller. You don't need to reach up and like grab them off that pedestal. But when you, again, the whole thing of like, it's all about the self-work here. So it's like, as soon as you bring them back to you and you see them stood right next to you, it will bring up what is it that I'm telling myself. So my biggest thing used to be, I used to tell myself that I needed to be thinner and prettier to attract the right person. And nothing physically about me has changed, but my belief that I'm worthy of having a partner as I am, that's what's changed. So then that voice that used to keep them up here, I recognized it from doing the stuff that we've talked about, and then was able to work on that voice rather than, because that's the root, that's like the root thing that needs working on. The symptom would be me going to work out 6 times a week and losing loads of weight, right? But the root was me just recognizing that I was worthy as I was, so that then we no longer feel like we have to keep kind of like upping ourselves to be able to reach somebody.
That's really what was needed to be added, because I can relate to this 100%. I was like, always like, I need to be better, I need to do this. I was like, I need to correct my posture and stuff and be more woman-like and stuff. But I am who I am, and you are who you are. Only your attitude to yourself has changed, and then the person came.
Exactly that. Because again, it's that thing of, I could have just changed stuff about me physically and then got into a relationship with somebody, but would I be showing up fully as myself, or would I be showing up as me but with a layer over me of still keeping myself protected? Because in the back of my head, my subconscious would be thinking, you're only with that person because you're skinny right now. So what kind of relationship do you think I would have ended up in? Or what kind of daily relationship would have had, not only with the person, but with myself, if that was what was continuing to go on? Whereas instead, when I met the person, like, of course you're a bit like, oh, okay, first time having sex, like you're always like going to be a little bit aware of your body, whatever shape and size you're in. But when I just got comfortable with who I was, and it meant that I could show up naturally in my relationship, so I wasn't having that subconscious or conscious narrative that something was wrong. And therefore, again, we mirror what we want. So then the person that I met was just himself. Like, he didn't change who he was to try and please me or be this version of who he thought that I needed.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, that's really like. Thank you for all these important thoughts, especially the last one. And one of my friends, you know, if you watch this, I'm speaking to you. Like, just listen to this smart lady, please, and stop being like hating yourself. So that's for everyone. That's for every of us. First comes self-love. I truly believe in this. And you can, speaking about this posture or weight or something, you can correct yourself. You can try to change yourself. You can try to be better, to be worthy. But instead, you can just love yourself. And maybe from this place, like when I started to treat myself like I am the one for me, and I was like, I really want to help my back, you know? Because I had back pain and stuff.
So you probably corrected the thing anyway, but it just came from a place that was done through like loving yourself rather than destructing yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was not like for getting something, for like my visualization in different spheres to come to life. So the reason is always in you, and comes everything. That's that's just the final thought. So thank you for everyone. If you have watched this long video till the end, it means really a lot, and we really hope that we could bring you some value, that we could give you just some love and some understanding that you are right just because you are who you are. Work on your inner self, but not to kill yourself with your attitude to yourself. If that makes sense.
So it's simple, it's so easy.
You know, it's really easy when you take it like step by step by step. When it's like a huge thing, you're like, oh my god, I hate myself, and what can I do with myself? But then you're like, maybe I'm just, that's just a negative belief here, negative belief there, plus negative belief there, and stuff, and here I am. And when you take it like one negative belief out, the second one out, the third one out, you realize that you love yourself. And you're complete. So I will link all that I can link, all your social media here in the description. If you want to have the coaching, do you have any free place now?
I do. So you can just head to my website and we'll see if we are the perfect fit. Thank you
and goodbye.